Thank you guys so much for watching our Shorts Program 4. I am lucky to be here with co-director Kristen Lappas from Blackfeet Boxing, Not Invisible. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Dawn.
Yeah. We were just chatting before and you told me you're from Connecticut. So I'm really curious as to how you got involved in this project and what that looked like for you, what that process was like.
Sure. And I'm sure all of the storytellers that are watching this Q&A can relate to this, that we kind of look for inspiration and find it in the most unlikely places. I was actually on a plane coming back from another shoot that I was doing for a different story for ESPN. And I happened to turn on the film Wind River on that flight. And for those of you that are not familiar with Wind River, it's a fictionalized film about a young girl who goes missing from a reservation. And the film ends with a graphic panel. And on that panel, it says that while there are missing persons statistics for every other demographic, none exist for Native American women. And no one knows how many have gone missing. And I just read it, and it took me, it shocked me, and it kind of sent chills up my spine. And I had no idea, if I'm being honest, I didn't really know much about the missing murdered Indigenous women crisis in our country. And so I got off that flight, and the next day I just started reading and educating myself about the issue, and kind of, was so enamored with, what was going on and why it was going on. And that research kind of led me to a photo essay in the Great Falls Tribune, which is a small local newspaper in Montana. And they had just done a photo essay on the reaction on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation to Ashley Loring Heavy Runner's disappearance. And so it were these really poignant photographs of people mourning and how everybody was reacting. And in that essay, there was a photograph, I'll never forget it, of two boxers silhouetted, sparring. And the caption read underneath it, two young female fighters spar at the Blackfeet Nation boxing gym, where they learn self-defense and fight for their lives. And I was like, wow. As a filmmaker, I've kind of dedicated my career to finding stories about how women empower themselves. And so here was a scenario where I work at ESPN. I'm a producer for ESPN Films. So it was boxing. And it was about these young women who were kind of taking matters into their own hands and learning how to defend themselves. And I was just so fascinated. I went to my bosses right away. I pitched the idea, and I was on a plane a couple of days later to go and meet Frank and the rest of the girls at the gym.
That's cool. Really cool. Thank you for making the effort to go and share these stories, because I think that's really important.
Thank you.
What was that process like as an outsider, building a relationship and trust with your characters, and how did you find the people in your film?
If I'm being totally candid and honest, the first time that I went to the Blackfeet Reservation, it was in October of 2018. And there was just skepticism when I arrived. People explained to me that other media members and outlets had come to their reservation, and they had taken and taken and taken, and they had said that they were doing one thing and they did something totally different. And so there was just a skepticism towards outsiders, especially people from the media. And so it was up to me to convince them that this was different. The reason that I was so inspired by the story was because of all of the positive work that Frank and the girls were doing in the gym. This was not a negative story. This was not a story that was going to focus on the negative aspects of the Indigenous, group of people, of the Blackfeet culture. But you can say that, and people won't 100% believe you until they see the actions and how you deal with them and how you listen and the relationships you build. And so, we filmed on the reservation for over a year and a half. We were back and forth, I think 7 or 8 times for, weeks at a time. And kind of the story that kind of encapsulates how close we got and how they did eventually end up trusting me. The last time I went to the reservation, I was 7 months pregnant. It was October of last year, and we finished filming. It was the end of the year boxing awards, and Frank and the girls at the gym surprised me, and they basically had this whole ceremony, a naming ceremony where they gave me an Indian name, and they blessed my baby, and they presented me with like all of these beautiful blankets and clothes that they had made for my daughter. And so it was just like one of the most moving experiences that I've ever been a part of. And I finally felt like they had welcomed me as a part of their community. And it was really important to me that had happened.
That's beautiful. What has the impact of this film shoot and, you know, getting to know all these people and making this film had on you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's had a huge impact on me. Like I just said, I gave birth to a daughter, my daughter, in February. And to know that there are these young girls as young as 8 years old who are fighting in this gym, and they're building their confidence and their voice. It's just so empowering as a woman, as a mom, to know that girls are doing these things, you know, around the country. And, you know, it's, the MMIW issue has been something that now I will devote the rest of my life to raising awareness to, because I still think it's a really, really underrepresented story in the news. And I just don't think many people know that it exists still. And so I just know that myself and my co-director, Tom Rinaldi, we've just kind of made a promise to one another to make sure that we don't ever lose sight of how important it is to spread awareness about this issue. So it's impacted me in so many different ways.
Especially with a platform like ESPN that you have, what's the impact that you've seen this film have on viewers and just, you know, the cause in general, the issue?
Yeah. So, I mean, before your film is released, you always have that, you know, that last minute anxiety, right? Like, is this going to resonate with people? Like, is this going to be something that people are talking about? Are people going to like this? And it's been incredible to see the outpouring for the film. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful thing. I mean, it's been accepted into 14 film festivals at this point. It's won.
I lost your audio.
Do you want me to start again?
Yeah, if you could.
Sure. At what point? Just the beginning of that answer?
Yeah, I can re-ask the question over again.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe I can edit it together. What has, especially with a platform like ESPN, what has the impact been on the audience?
It's been so wonderful, Dawn, to see the reaction that our audience has had and the outpouring that people have made to Frank and the gym and to Ashley's family, her sister Kimberly. It's been incredible. You know, the film has been accepted into 14 festivals at this point. It won Indie Shorts, making an Academy Award eligible, which was really exciting. And so I think that it's resonating with people. It's streaming right now on ESPN's streaming service, ESPN Plus. So people are able to watch it there. And we've just received a tremendous amount of feedback. But the feedback that means the most to me personally is from Indigenous communities and Indigenous people, because I don't live this. This is, you know, these are really troubling statistics for me, but for those people, it's their sister, their daughter, their mother. It's real life circumstances. And for those people to reach out and to say, thank you, this is a really moving representation of what we're going through, and it's accurate. Like, that's the best feedback that you can get as a filmmaker, is from the people that are actually experiencing these troubling, you know, issues on the reservation.
Yeah. I know most films have things, you know, especially when you're shooting documentaries that don't end up making it into the storyline. Was there any like behind the scenes thing or another storyline that just didn't fit in that was really cool or interesting?
Yes. So, I mean, like I told you, we filmed for 20 days on this, and you know, the film is 29 minutes. So it could have been it could have been a 3 hour film. Um, but I think that the parts that I wish that we could have explored more is a little bit more about the Blackfeet culture. I don't think we got into that as much as I would have liked to. They have such a rich and special culture. They have a really, really strong connection to their land. And there was just so many fascinating stories about generations and generations of families who had been on the Blackfeet reservation and what that culture meant to them that I wish we could have explored a little more. And then in addition to that, you know, we were only able to go into detail on two of the fighters' stories, Donna and Mamie. There were dozens of other children, women, girls who had really interesting stories that we could have gotten into so much more detail on. You know, with ESPN, in order for it to air on TV, it had to be under 30 minutes. So we were given that like time constraint from the very beginning, that we had to fit it into that kind of compact, more succinct treatment. So, but there's so many inspiring stories from the girls in that gym. We could have gone a million directions.
Yeah, I bet. It was like every person in that story is like someone you can really connect to in some way. And Frank is obviously so inspiring, and all those girls and the boys in the club are like incredible. Um, and on that note, I would love if you have information on how people can support Frank's boxing gym because he's doing such good work, and I think it's really important that we not only watch these films, but then we can feel inspired to help these people. Is there a place that they can go to donate to support him?
And thank you for bringing that up. There absolutely is. Frank and the gym have a GoFundMe page. If you just search Blackfeet Nation Boxing Club on GoFundMe, they have an account there and they need the help. Frank is one of the most selfless people I've ever met. And every single penny that he brings in goes to those kids and to the gym. He lives a very modest life. It's like everything is just put into the gym. And to feeding the kids and clothing the kids, it just goes beyond boxing. And so, you know, any generous donation that you're willing to give is helping them and helping the club and those kids in a major way. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Mm-hmm. So we'll drop those links and the ESPN film link in the Eventive description page so you guys can go straight there to donate to Frank's gym or learn more about Kristen's work and see the film and share it with other people. I think it's a really important story to share. And like you're saying, it's something that not everybody knows about. And so I think it's really important to get educated on that topic and help spread the word about it. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time and you sharing this film with us. I think it's really special and important. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And Morningstar Angeline was not able to join us for this Q&A. So following right after this, she sent in a video to us for her film Good Morning. So stick around to check that out as well.